Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Huh? It's the house!
Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains?
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
What's going on, freaks? Yeah. Where's the Blue and Chloe? Let's see. Ah, they're just sleeping again. Looks like Chloe's eyes are open now. I don't know, it's hard to tell. Hard to tell. Hello, Ginger Keys, Julia Dell, Kubi, Sherry Wilson, Zoe 413, Eugenie, Lady of Cali, Irene Cypher, Sarah 67, Esma Budget, or Esme Budget, Ginger Keys, Allie Cake, Lady of, and then 123 Rock Child, Paulette Leonard, Zoe 413, Dane Crawford. Yeah, this is a case we covered from the beginning. Right at the very start of when she was missing, and then her body found in a crazy trail. Hey, look at that, a membership gifted right out of the gate by Eugenie. So I thought we'd cover this for a while, and then we can talk about whatever we want to talk about. And that was Big Bird 420 got the membership. And there's Timothy Cecil. How's it going, man? What's Chloe doing? Is she eating the... Yeah. Yeah, I thought about this case every now and then, just wondering where they were at. We didn't know at first if this person was an illegal alien or not. It was California. And it turns out this guy was an illegal alien. And you know what? I'm not trying to, I'm just saying exactly what, the former president said. I don't want to say his name to offend people. But they send the murderers come over here. This guy murdered somebody in, can't remember the actual, it's like a South American country, but he murdered somebody, escaped into the United States, and then he, sexually assaults somebody or rapes them in Los Angeles. Then he goes all the way over to Maryland where he kills somebody viciously. Yeah, I don't think it was, I don't know, Venezuela doesn't sound right. Yeah, it's El Salvador. There you go. Yeah. That was it. And that's exactly what he always says. And it's the truth, They get rid of all their really bad people, and yeah, good people come over too, but you have a ton of just horrendous people coming over, It's horrible. Anyways, every single death caused by an illegal alien is one that never should have happened. Do we all agree on that? Do we all agree on that? That every single murder in the United States by an illegal alien is one that should never have happened? It seems like that should be something we all just go, yes, that's true, because they shouldn't have been allowed in. It's just sort of an obvious question. I actually had somebody say one time, the response was, well, they would have got killed anyways by some other person, What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, it was just their time, right? Okay. Yeah, so we got to do something about it. This last, I think something really bad may actually be happen in terms of, you know, we don't really know, but even the FBI is saying, man, there's so many terrorists that have come over the border. We don't know where they're all at right now, currently. You know, so I'm a little nervous about what might be happening here. It just seems so irresponsible to run a country and just sort of allow people to storm over the border unchecked, like we don't even know who they are, and it just doesn't work. I know it's sort of nice to all think, yeah, you know, we're the country where people, but people would come in orderly. They would go to, you know, Ellis Island and various other places, and, you know, they sign in, and, you know, biometrics are taken, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just totally different now. People jumping over, and they don't give a shit about our country whatsoever. I mean, you know that, right? Thanks, Dane Crawford. Yeah. And I hope they actually start deporting as many as possible. And I'm talking about the ones that have recently come over. I mean, just literally track them down and get rid of it. I mean, it is absolutely, you guys should be scared. You know, people aren't scared because it's not right on their doorstep yet. But you never know, man. That one time you're walking down the street and then you go, oh man. It's crazy. God, unbelievable. This guy was in a gang and he was like staying with people. Here, look, let's just watch the press conference. But, you know, like every night in here, you guys are here to watch the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel. How'd that sound? That sound like... That's ridiculous. But here, I got something. So remember, I only have like, I don't know, 15 or 20 notebooks left, okay? So here's the notebooks that I have. This is the Chloe notebook, all right? Now, if you send 30 to PayPal, you end up getting the Chloe notebook, the blue pen right there, all right? And the, oh, not that side, the Freak stress ball, okay, which is actually a freak heart because that's the generous freaks, all right? So you can squeeze it and pretend it's my face sometimes when you're really pissed at my opinion about something. So if you want one of these, you send a PayPal. Make sure your address is in the PayPal. And it takes me sometimes a couple weeks to get enough to bulk together and then send them out. But there you go. All right. And if you want to help support my channel on the live stream, you can send a super chat in with the comment, maybe ask a question or throw in a comment that you want to make, something like that. All right. Huh? What's wrong with the pen, Sherry Wilson? What a crazy comment. All right, anyways, here we go. The nursing student was also killed. Yeah, this is another student that, what was her name? It's like Kaylee, man, I can't remember her name, and I don't even remember what state now. But yeah, the nursing student, we were following that. Yeah, it was Lakin. I was kind of thinking of something like that. Yeah, Lakin, not Lincoln. Lakin. Thank you, Claudia Neubauer. All right, you guys ready to watch the press conference? It's pretty interesting. Yeah. Hold on. God, what's going on? Can I slide it over? Ding. Oh. There we go.
Thanks, Christy. Good afternoon.
I tried to fix the audio so you guys could all hear it. I guess you need to see it on the screen. But, you know, and I even boosted up the audio of the questions, all right? So don't forget about supporting the channel during these press conferences. I know whenever I do these things, it just completely disappears from people's minds and we get way behind for the show. All right, so here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Christy said, I'm Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor. As everyone's aware, on August 6, 2023, our peaceful Harford County community was rocked when the body of Rachel Morin was discovered in an area just about a mile from here, just off the Ma and Pa hiking trail here in just outside the town of Bel Air.
I guess the thing is people haven't heard of this. This happened last year, sometime in around the summertime. And, you know, Rachel Morin's car was parked right here in this hiking trail. She just went there to exercise, walked down the trail over here. And then this psycho came by and just attacked her and killed her and put her inside these tunnels that go underneath the highway here. I mean, it's unbelievable. And there's people looking around for her and everything, but then they found her inside this tunnel, and she was killed with a knife. I mean, just brutally assaulted, etc. And then they came forward with some information regarding a person in... They collected the DNA from the crime scene. Thank you, Janelle Glover. They collected DNA from the crime scene, and then... So they stored it. Then they also had an unknown DNA that matched that in Los Angeles. Like, you know, 3,000 miles away. The DNA matched an assault inside of a house, and they actually had surveillance footage of the guy. Here, watch. Here, let me show you this. We'll go back to this in a minute. So here he is right here. Watch. This is inside the house right here. And this is just a time where I slowed it down, but here he is right here. He had just assaulted them. He didn't kill them for some reason. It was really odd thing the way he left this house, though. You know, almost like, hey, see you later, you know, see you next time, or whatever the hell he's doing. Hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela and Cindy Christensen. And people thought, man, is he a swimmer? Is he a karate guy? I mean, he does have a swimmer sort of body type. But definitely wasn't a swimmer. Yeah, so I just played it over and over again. And so that's what he looked like back then. So they tied it to this assault that happened prior, you know, months earlier. Okay? So now let's go back to the press conference. And they've been looking for him for a long time. You know, there's various updates. And it's amazing. They use forensic genetic genealogy or IgG, investigative genetic genealogy, as part of this, which is really amazing because in those countries it's hard to be represented in the system.
Thanks, Christy. Good afternoon, everybody. As Christy said, I'm Harford County Sheriff Jeff Gaylor. As everyone's aware, on August 6, 2023, our peaceful Harford County community was rocked when the body of Rachel Morin was discovered in an area just about a mile from here, just off the Ma and Pa hiking trail here in just outside the town of Bel Air. In addition to the impact to our local Harford County community, Rachel's murder gained national and even international attention. The young mother of 5, whose life was violently taken in a public location, is one of the safest places in the state. It's not supposed to happen, and it shouldn't have happened. In the days and months since Rachel was murdered, Rachel's family and friends, our Harford County community, and the men and women of the Harford County Sheriff's Office, along with all of our allied partners, have worked tirelessly to bring the individual responsible for her death to justice. Our deputies and our partners have worked this case with persistence and passion for Rachel.
By the way, this guy, I think, is a great sheriff as well. I mean, I think he's in that same mold of like Grady Judd, except Grady Judd is different than all of these guys because he'll tell you every single detail that he can, but it's usually very in-depth information about cases. But this guy is really cool. I like him.
And for her family every day over the past 10 months. just over 3 weeks ago on May 20th on what should have been Rachel's 38th birthday. And in a poetic coincidence, or perhaps in Rachel's own divine assistance, our investigators uncovered a lead that led us to this day. And on this day, I'm here to tell you, Rachel's murderer is no longer a free man. Hopefully, he will never have the opportunity to walk free again. The lead we received was related to DNA evidence and allowed investigators to finally put a name to the image of the suspect in the video from Los Angeles, which we released 2 weeks after Rachel's death. After we had the video, we knew what he looked like. We knew what he looked like, but we didn't know who he was. With the new DNA evidence, now we know who he is, but we still didn't know where he was. As I have stated many times, this killer could have been laying his head in any community in the country or even in the world, and indeed, that was completely accurate. Over the past 2 weeks, investigators continued their diligent investigation and tracked our suspect all the way from Prince George's County to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Our investigators also obtained an arrest warrant yesterday afternoon.
Thank you to Allie Cake and Amber Maiden. Gifted a membership to Mimi Misty. Thank you very much. Welcome, Miss Mimi.
And as the arrest warrant was being issued, we met with Rachel's family, many of whom are with us today, to update them on the case and ask them...
what do you think of this? How cool is this, right? They updated the family before they made the arrest on this person. And they said, you just need to keep it quiet. That's how it should be in these cases. The trust between the family and the law enforcement.
And almost asked of them an almost impossible request, and that was to keep the information about the identity and the arrest warrant to themselves and protected, to allow investigators the opportunity to try to apprehend this suspect before it was made public in the news, so that our suspect did not have the opportunity to learn that he was wanted and to once again flee. 5 hours after meeting with the family, and just before midnight our time, police in Tulsa, Oklahoma, assisted by our federal partners, located and arrested Rachel's murderer, Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez. So far, we have learned that the suspect, now pictured on the screens, is a 23-year-old citizen of El Salvador who illegally crossed the border into the United States in February of 2023. We all suspected that perhaps Rachel was not his first victim, and it's my understanding that this suspect, this monster, fled to the United States illegally after committing the brutal murder of a young woman in El Salvador a month early in January of 2023. Once in our country, and likely emboldened by his anonymity, he brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother during a home invasion in March of 2023 in Los Angeles. And as everyone I believe is aware, that was our first DNA match.
Good God, you guys. I don't think we knew all that kind of detail. A 9-year-old and the mother brutally attacked them. And then he just walks out like, hey, it was a great date and everything. And no, I'm not saying send everybody back, everybody. I'm talking about people that have just broke into the country. I think what needs to happen is you need to find everybody that's come in, interview them, figure out who the hell they are, and get rid of any. I don't really know, man. It's almost too hard now. There's millions of people that just poured in, 10 million in the last 3.5 years.
Linking Rachel's case to the Los Angeles case. It has been a fear of mine that once we identified this suspect, the result would be exactly this. And I want to now direct these comments to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and to every member in both chambers of Congress.
There you go, see? He's bringing it up.
We are 1,800 miles away here in Harford County. We are 1,800 miles away from the southern border, and the American citizens are not safe because of failed immigration policies. This is the second time in just 2 years that an innocent Harford County woman has lost her life to a criminal in our country illegally. Let me repeat that. 1,800 miles from the southern border, and this is the second woman in our county to be killed by an illegal alien. Suspects, in both cases, they are suspects from El Salvador with ties to criminal gangs. Should not be happening. Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or for his family. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel, and God willing, no one else. But that should have never been allowed to happen. Moving on, I want to make it clear that this case does not get solved, and we do not bring this criminal to justice without the amazing law enforcement teamwork from our local, state.
Thank you, monogamous apostate. Hey, Gray, do you know if the Border Patrol knew about his Interpol warrant for murder when he came in? I don't know. See, that's the whole thing. Is I don't know. I don't know how, when these people come in, I don't know what they're doing over there. It just, you got so many people piling in. You could just say, hey, I'm Joe Blow. I don't have any ID. Okay, yeah, go over there. We'll have a hearing sometime. Yeah. It's a joke. Absolute joke. Thanks, Kim Christian. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that come here to, they want to make money and be able to support their family back home, etc. I get it. But you know what? Come here the right way, you guys. I mean, I'm just saying. What's really weird is when you have these organizations that coach them on what words to say so they can trick our agents and be able to stay here. I mean, isn't that backwards? Like a really sort of a strange thing?
State and federal partners. And I mean that in all sincerity. Rachel's homicide does not get solved.
That's right.
There is no arrest without all of us working together. And for that, I want to thank everyone here in the front of the room and all those who aren't here, but I'm going to cover a list in a minute. I mean, have you guys seen the videos where there's like hundreds of people from China, one of our enemies, basically? People coming in from every known Middle Eastern country out there, and they just sort of walk in and they just kind of like just go somewhere. Who the hell are these people? It's unbelievable, you guys. Don't you? I mean, how come people don't understand this shit? It's just weird that you get pushback from people. What pushback is there possibly when I say what I just said? Thank all of them for their assistance to our agency over the past 10 months. We are profoundly grateful for your dedication and support. The Federal Bureau of Investigation, especially the Baltimore Field Office, rendered invaluable assistance throughout the course of the investigation. Similarly, the State Police, Maryland State Police Crime Laboratory contributed greatly with their expertise and resources. I must also say thank you to the Los Angeles Police Department, the Department of Homeland Security, Naval Criminal Investigative Services, the Maryland State Police Bel Air Barrack, the U.S. Marshal Service Fugitive Task Force, the Harford County State's Attorney's Office, the Maryland Department of Natural Resources Police, the Bel Air Police Department, the Maryland Coordination and Analysis Center, the Baltimore Washington HIDA, the Tulsa, Oklahoma Police Department, El Salvadorian authorities, and the many law enforcement agencies, both state and local, who provided invaluable assistance to the Harford County Sheriff's Office during this investigation. As I think is evident,
I mean, Molly Tibbetts was killed by an illegal alien. Same sort of situation. Almost exactly the same kind of thing. She was just running around, attacked, and that's another murder. But what was weird about her is she supported them just coming in, and I wonder what she was thinking as she was being killed. Did she change her mind then? I thought it was weird how her dad kept saying, oh no, we really are support. Get the hell out of here, dude.
This was truly a comprehensive law enforcement effort, and I am exceptionally proud of the work done by the collective team and countless others who made last night's arrest in Tulsa possible. I also want to thank the members of our Harford County community for their patience, support, and cooperation throughout this investigation, to include hundreds upon hundreds of tips that our investigators have received. Today we were able to provide what some like to refer to as closure to Rachel's family and for our Harford County community. I want to thank the members of the Morin family, and you're going to hear from, as Christy said, from Patricia here in a minute, but no questions.
Isn't that strange? You have Lake and Riley jogging. You have Molly Tibbetts, who was jogging. You have Rachel Morin, who was jogging, I think. And they're all attacked on these in these areas by barbarians that just sort of came in and thought it was okay to do over here. I mean, it's just, God, what in the hell is going on?
They have been by the side of our detectives this entire time, doing anything that they could do to help the investigation and to help our detectives, to help bring this individual that took Rachel's life to justice. I recognize there is nothing that will ever close the door or bring true closure concerning the loss of Rachel, but it is my hope and the hope of all involved working this case that the arrest of this suspect brings her family and our Harford County community some peace. I would like to now ask FBI Baltimore Field Office Special Agent in Charge, William DeBano, did I get it right? DeBano, to offer a few remarks. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Sheriff Gaylor. Good afternoon. My name is Bill Delbano. I'm the Special Agent in Charge of the FBI Baltimore Field Office. Today, our focus remains on Rachel, bringing justice for her, finding answers for her.
Well, the truth is, we're not going to do the politic talk, but the problem is, the thing is, Wild, it's absolutely true that it's a political thing. When there's mass people coming into the border, it is political, regardless if you want to believe it. It's the Democrats like to have open borders and let people pour in. They never want to solve the problem because they think eventually it'll be a voter base for them. And Republicans want to keep people from coming into the country, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. I mean, I don't know how people, when they say they don't see those kind of things, it's bizarre. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of Democrats out there that actually don't want the people coming over the border, just like the Republicans, right? It's the leadership who does this. They're looking for the future, for votes in the future, because we're the ones that let you in. Okay, that's the truth of the story, all right? So I just want to play this, and, I don't want battling going on in the chat. What I just told you is a reality, not something I just made up in my head, all right?
Her family and loved ones, and making sure the violent criminal who so viciously took her life cannot harm anyone else. The FBI is proud to stand united with our partners in the Harford County Sheriff's Office as we announce this arrest.
Because it didn't have what they wanted in it, Mary. And, it's absolutely hilarious, man. And as soon as, like, if Trump wins and they try to get a bill passed, the only way they'll get it passed if they have the majority, but they will pass one. All right? Yeah, and it didn't have enough in it that they wanted. That's why they didn't pass it.
We know nothing can take away the pain and the anguish Rachel's family and friends have endured. Please know, on behalf of the FBI.
I mean, what's weird is how come, let me ask you something. It's the Democratic politicians that do this. How come you guys don't take ownership for it and just realize that they do that? That they like the open borders. They bitch and moan, and they try to portray Republicans as some sort of Nazis at the border on horses with whips and everything that never really happened. They try to portray all this, and they take away bills that were already in place. We had deals with Mexico to keep people over there, and they were all wiped out the second the administration's changed. And look what we got right now. I mean, this is just one random case out of here, but it's just, you guys have seen it, right? I mean, people just pouring in from one country after another. And he has executive orders, right? He could do the same thing that the former president did, right? But he doesn't want to do that because he knows it'll piss off his base in terms of in the government, the politicians. Democrats out here that are watching, they don't want this to happen either. They don't want people pouring over the border. But the politicians running the show, they want it that way. It's wild. It's crazy.
Our hearts are with you. To the public, keeping our community safe is one of the...
Their benefit is they think it'll give them voters in the future. I mean, California's just absolutely been destroyed by this whole thing. I mean, you might as well just give California back to Mexico or something. It's just like the entire, everybody, there's so much money being spent on social services and different things like that, and it's hard to get jobs. Everything costs a ton over there. Gas is like $7 or $8 a gallon. I mean, it's just a joke. This whole thing.
FBI's highest priorities, and so are the invaluable partnerships required to accomplish this. During the investigation, here's what I can share from the FBI. Our investigative genetic genealogy team in Baltimore
there we go.
worked countless hours to identify the suspect by using crime scene DNA.
Yeah, it's the long game. They try to get them in here, then they have kids, then they can vote.
And tracing that DNA to potential family members.
The governor of California is actually making funds available for sex change operations for illegal aliens, as long as you've been here long enough. Are you kidding me?
Investigators even traveled to El Salvador as part of their efforts to identify this killer. To find the suspect, we provided technical assistance, helping to pinpoint his location. And that brings us to last night, where Tulsa police and FBI agents were able to successfully apprehend and arrest the suspect in Oklahoma. Hartford County and the investigators on this case worked every angle, tirelessly and constantly, never giving up and following every lead and piece of evidence. We thank Hartford County for their partnership and bringing us into the investigation. As Sheriff Gaylor outlined, we thank...
He did fix it, Deb. The immigration, people coming over the border was just a trickle compared to it now. My God. And you guys kept him from finishing the wall. You remember that?
Thank everyone who helped make this arrest possible. To all those who have been waiting for an arrest to be made, for answers, we hope this brings a sense of justice and some peace. The FBI vows to continue to work every day to keep our community safe and prioritize the partnerships so vital to doing that. Thank you. I will now turn it over to Evan Campanella, the Deputy Special Agent in Charge, HSI, Baltimore.
Thank you, Sac Del Bagno. First off, I would like to thank Sheriff Gaylor for having HSI present for today's announcement. Today's announcement is the culmination of almost 1 year of investigative activity that might not always go noticed by the public. This investigation highlights the cooperation and the collaboration HSI has with its state and local and federal partners, and I'm happy to be here today with Sheriff Gaylor and our partners to announce the arrest of Mr. Martinez Hernandez. I hope that today's announcement, as the sheriff pointed out, will help bring some closure to Rachel's family. And again, I would like to thank Sheriff Gaylor for asking HSI to participate in this investigation and to be here for today's announcement. I would now like to...
See, here we go. We got a press conference, and if you guys could please help support the channel, even though we're doing the press conferences, that'd be great. Thank you very much.
Invite Hartford County State's Attorney, Allison Healy, to the podium for her remarks.
Good afternoon. I want to commend the...
Yeah, I mean, what Cindy's saying in there, listen, everybody, I thought it was better in the previous administration for every single aspect of my life until, then there's a pandemic, right? And, and so there might be people out there that hated that time and love it now. So go ahead, vote for whatever you feel like is better for you personally, okay? That's what everybody should do. Is vote for whatever you think you want to vote for that's better for you personally. And if you think Joe is the guy for you, then you go ahead. All right, you go right ahead.
Hartford County Sheriff's Office and other assisting agencies on the hard work, expertise, and diligence identifying and apprehending the suspect in the murder of Rachel Morin. They worked tirelessly on this lengthy and difficult investigation for the public safety of our community and bringing Rachel's family peace, knowing that the next step is prosecution. I will personally be leading the prosecution of this case. While the defendant is innocent until and unless he is proven guilty, Harford County and our neighboring communities can rest assured that my office will take all steps necessary to ensure that justice is served.
And here's the thing, everybody. On this channel, I like the Democrats just as much as I like the Republicans. The problem is whenever I state something that shows that I'm more of a conservative Republican type, the Democrats, which they often do the cancel thing where they, oh, I'm out of here, Gray, oh, and they just delete and unsubscribe and everything like that. And I think that's disgusting, you know. I mean, let people have a different opinion. I don't block people because they're a different political persuasion, but it's amazing how many of you guys do that shit. It's weird, okay? It's weird as hell. You know, 30 years ago, you could be on each side and just talk about it and go, hey, I don't agree with that, I don't agree with that. It's just so polarized right now. So be better people, all right?
For Rachel Morin and her family. We have already begun coordinating with the Warrant Apprehension Unit of the Harford County Sheriff's Office to handle the extradition of the defendant to Harford County.
Yeah, don't call Democrats names or anything in here. I'm just telling you, we're just talking about what's going on right here, and it is because the borders are wide open and people are pouring in.
And once the defendant has been transported back to Harford County, prosecution will commence. Thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce to you all Patricia Morin.
And look at that, fishing the dark. There's a vote for. Hey, there you go. All right, fishing in the dark.
I'm going to make this really short because I'm very emotional.
I'll call people rude if I want to. 1, 2, 3, rock child. If people block somebody because they think different than them politically, then you're rude as hell, okay? You're an embarrassment.
I just want to take this time to thank all of the law enforcement for all their hard work. I know that a lot of times we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. You know, you see the policeman in the car when he writes you a ticket, but you don't see the real work that happens behind. And around Christmas time, we did a canvassing with Harford County, thank you. And they brought us into a room, and I could see all the people that were involved. And that's not even all the external agencies that were involved. And it just gave me such hope that they really did care about our family.
Hey, go ahead. Hey, listen, send in a Biden super chat. I'll put it up on the screen. Go ahead, everybody. It doesn't matter to me. Vote for whatever the hell you want to vote for.
My daughter, that they were going to work diligently to find the person that murdered her.
I thought this was really cool what this lady was saying.
At one point, when things seemed like really bleak and hopeless, the lead detective said to me, he said, patience will win in the end. And that's what they've been doing. They've been diligently working very hard, and they've been patiently working through all the leads. And it's because of that that we have an arrest today. So I'm very thankful and just very grateful.
This is so cool. Because you know what she does? She literally, at one point goes, she wants everybody to clap for the police. And they were moved by it. I mean, it's really amazing.
To these men. And I'm also very grateful to the press because you kept her story alive so that people would still continue to send in tips. And that helped them to do their job. So I want to thank the press as well. But I don't know if this is, oops, sorry about that.
You're right.
I don't know if this is kosher or not. I'm going to step away from the pulpit. But I think we should applaud them just because I am so grateful that they have brought us to this place. Because at some of the points during this I didn't think that we were ever going to have an end, that it was
Yeah.
going to be a cold case. So I would like to applaud them.
How cool is that, huh? And I had the same feeling about this case. Like, oh, wow, how are you going to catch that one random guy that may or may not have came from another country, and he's not even going to be from a country that is represented well in the databases, but they were somehow able to track him down to El Salvador, the family, and then found some family members and interviewed them, and I mean, it was just crazy. The FBI they got some other stuff going on now with the genetic genealogy stuff.
Thank you, and it's a case that touched us all. So with that, we are going to take some questions. As Christy said, this is still an active investigation. So there's some things that we're not free to speak about or won't be speaking about. So with that, does anybody have any questions that we can answer for any of the speakers?
I have a question. I want to know if you can, and I know Sister kind of went into it a little bit, but what actually happens with him right now? I feel like we read an ice hold. I don't know if you're familiar with that term, or if you can kind of educate me on it.
I'm very familiar with ICE detainers.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure.
Yes,
Kind of
we are a.
what's the status?
There has been an ICE detainer filed on him because he is in this country illegally out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He would not be deported before answering for these charges. So I honestly believe that's the last place he wants to go. I think,
Thank you,
a sad
Lady of
statement is our
Power.
jails are better here than they are in El Salvador, and he's going to spend, God willing, the rest of his days behind bars.
How was he able to get around from El Salvador to LA to here to PG County, apparently, Tulsa?
Investigators are still working. I mean, he worked a few odd jobs that we are familiar with. Did not live a very, expensive lifestyle.
Probably.
But this is a free country. You can, once you're in it, you can move from one jurisdiction to the next, very freely. And he did that from El Salvador into the United States to Los Angeles, unfortunately here to Harford County, and again down in Prince George's County.
I mean, man, how many other people has he killed, And, the thing is I think in my, that watch my show, we're probably 50-50 politically in here. I'm just, I'm more of a Republican conservative type, I think it sort of fits with law and crime a little bit better. But, I mean, I'm just, that's what I am. I mean, I believe in those kind of things, right? So it just, I don't want everybody because I'm saying something like, oh, wow, now we're going to pile on the other people, right? I mean, they have their own opinions. I think it's strange sometimes when people don't notice certain things. It's almost like a blind eye. We all, I guess whatever side you're on, you choose not to see certain things, and, it's just kind of the way it is, Right. My contempt is, yeah.
I'm in the Virginia area, and then all the way out to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Thanks, Richard Gartner.
And in the year he's been in the country, a little year plus, who knows where else he's been. And it's a fear of mine. It's a fear of our investigators. And as Patty said, our investigators took this case to heart, as they do all the cases. But this case they took to heart, and they worked so hard and have an emotional tie to it that I got off on a tangent. That they I lost my train of thought.
Does he have connections to any of these areas?
The investigators are working that. We certainly know he has connections down in the D.C. area, both Virginia and Prince George's County. But again, as he moved around the country, there were places that we believe he probably had associates, and he has ties to known gangs. So we believe that's how he lived his life.
Right.
You mentioned a few, but how many total crimes or victims are police aware that this man?
That's where I was going before. We fear all the time, the investigators fear that we're going to stumble across another crime that just hasn't been tied back through DNA or some other science or electronic, tie, that the evidence just hasn't reach the point where we get a hit. But right now, what we're familiar with is the crime in Los Angeles, the home invasion in March of 2023, the homicide here of Rachel in August of 2023. And I believe in Tulsa he's facing some local charges as well for last night, I think trespassing or disorderly or something to that effect. We're not familiar with any other, I'm not familiar with any other charges.
El Salvador.
No, in El Salvador there is a, what's it called, a red notice? A red notice, which is basically an Interpol warrant for his arrest to bring him back there to stand for the homicide of the woman in that case down there.
And can you speak to the collaboration with the El Salvadorian authorities? How did you all do that?
Well, and I gotta defer to our partners at the FBI on that one because they did most of the international.
Thanks, John. So the FBI has personnel that are positioned throughout the world. They're called legal attaches. And we have a legal attache that is in El Salvador. As we were conducting some of the investigative actions along with Harford County, some of the investigative information took us to El Salvador and working with our partners there in order to understand some of the familial ties that are down there, and also bring together back a better understanding of the red notice that Sheriff Gaylor brought up as well.
Hey, look at that. Maeve Maiden got one of the memberships. Wow. She's been waiting for one of those for a long time. All right. Finally got one.
Do you know anything about the victim in El Salvador? Is that something he knew, or is it random?
I don't have any information on that.
Can you go into detail how he was arrested in Tulsa? Was it a traffic stop? Was it something that happened?
As I understand it, it was about, I don't know how many hours they're behind, 2, 3, Tulsa. So it was midnight our time, and he was hanging out at a business park or a storefront, and the police encountered him, and apparently there's a charge of, did we say trespassing? Trespassing.
I got the scanner audio, but I don't think I can hear anything related to it.
And he was identified during that arrest and processing.
Any idea of a motive here, or we feel this is just completely random?
Well, that's been a question since the outset. You know, was Rachel's homicide random or targeted? And again, I don't know that we have that answer explicitly or completely. But at this point, there's nothing to indicate that anyone other than him was involved. We do have some belief that he spent some time here in the Bel Air area, so he may have seen her and her more or less routine operations. One of the things that we cautioned people, particularly women on the trail, about doing was developing a routine where it can be predicted where you might be. That would be my suspicion. If he decides to talk throughout the course of the days ahead to either investigators or prosecutors as it moves to that stage, we may learn more about, was it just an opportunity because he was on the trail when, unfortunately she decided to go.
The way I always thought we should be doing this is, have the wall built and then have, like, every 5 miles or so, have a secondary wall behind that wall, and then you have like every 5 miles a gate. But people show up to it, they get fingerprinted, a photograph taken of them, and they give us about, I think, like $5,000. And then they get to come into the country and work. It's like a work permit type thing. But at least we know who they are, and they give us $5,000. That helps cover the cost of them being here with the medical costs and things like that. Because they already pay $7,000 or $10,000 to the coyotes, so make it so they don't need coyotes. You come over, we figured out who you are. If you don't have ID and we can't verify who you are, you do not get to come in. If you're somebody that wants to come over and work, then pay the $5,000 just like you paid the coyote. Come in here. We build up a fund, and it's used to help offset the cost. And the people that you don't know who they are and things aren't adding up, you don't get to come in. But there aren't going to be buzzwords that you get to say, and you get to come in. I think the key really is knowing who the people are that are in our country. Isn't that just really logical and simple? Like, let's know who everybody is who's coming in for certain. If you can't prove who that person is, you send them back. They don't get to stay here. Right? And then when they come in, instead of giving the coyote 10 grand, they give us 5. Okay? I mean, they're already paying that. Just don't give it to the coyotes anymore. They come in, they give us 5, and then they get like a card of some sort that has you take their fingerprint, you take a sample of their hair, and you run it through a system at some point. Maybe part of the 5,000 is putting the DNA into a system or something like that. And if there's any crimes committed, it'll link right back to a specific individual. And then you get to come in here. We have to know who the hell is here. Does everybody agree with that at least? You know, like the government should know who's coming over. Make it impossible to come in other than one of those gates. And if you don't come in with ID, you don't get to come in. It's weird. But people, there are migrant workers. They come here and they pick, they do a lot of like farm work and do things like that. And it's unfortunately, there's a lot of Americans that don't do these things anymore. They used to do them, but they don't want to do it. So they're going to come in and do those jobs. And one of the things I don't like out there is you always hear this thing, and even Trump says this. I don't really like it, but what they always say, but even black people say the same thing, that these illegal aliens are coming in and they're taking jobs from specifically black people and other Mexicans that live here. The goal of our country should be that when they come here, there isn't a particular race that the illegal aliens displace from. Like black people, it should be more like we should be, black people shouldn't have to be concerned about that, right? Like, oh, wow, these people are coming in. We need to get them where, that there's better jobs for everybody. And those lower jobs are just sort of like whoever else was going to do those jobs, they're displacing them. But I don't like that the term is used like, well, these illegal aliens are coming in and they're always taking the jobs from the black people and the Hispanic people. I mean, we should aspire to be higher on all different levels, so it wouldn't matter. It would just be, you wouldn't have a specific race that the illegal aliens are taking the jobs from, if you know what I'm talking about, right? I think that'll be the day when we've made it to a higher level, is when you don't say, well, the illegal aliens are taking the jobs from the black people and the Hispanics, right? That sounds weird to me. It should be just they're coming in and taking lower paying jobs from Americans that could have used those jobs. That's it. But don't have a specific race tied to that notion. Does that make sense? All right, here we go.
About exercising that day.
Thanks, Julia
was it something more
Morales.
specific as to the motive? We've been
7 years ago today.
I guess about it. The charges in the case are first-degree murder and first-degree rape. And as the colonel just reminded me to say, we do have right now in the air. We have sent investigators to Tulsa, Oklahoma, to follow up on many things related to this investigation. It's very active and ongoing, as I said. He will be extradited.
They do, Zozo, but they can't do anything about it because it's not politically, it doesn't work for them. It would piss off their base. Like here's how it would work. This is what they believe. So there's a large population of Hispanic people that have become citizens, like their children, and they've grown up, and they're concerned that they won't vote if they stop the flow at the border. But what's dumb is those people don't want all of them coming over either. That's the crazy part about it.
Here eventually, and that will be done. That process has already been initiated, but it could take, as I understand, to the state's attorney, 10 to 30 days. 10 days if he doesn't fight it, 30 days if he decides to fight it, but he will be extradited. 30 to 60.
I want to to ask about genetic genealogy, so it sounds like it. Yeah, it'll probably be. I'm not really sure if we really hear of that so often with cases, like cracking cases, especially ones that you've been working so hard to figure out. So can you kind of just walk us through how that played a role? Seems pretty major.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of folks know genetic genealogy or investigative genetic genealogy in some of the cold cases, and certainly has gotten a lot of attention from the Golden State Killer, and since then a lot of investigations on the cold case side. I think
they don't. It's their kids, Zozo. So it's the long game. I just answered that question earlier.
Folks should also know that we prioritize the violent crime.
And they're actually trying, there's legislation out there, not legislation, but ideas that you hear tossed around where they want to allow them to vote since they live in the communities.
Cases that are current, and that this is an game-changing investigative tool to understand when there are dry holes and there's no other leads to go, that we can apply the investigative genealogy to identify potentially family members, and then in doing that, take it on to a step where Hartford County and our partners can conduct interviews to better understand who the potential subjects are and narrow down that scope. We also use it on, unfortunately, the victim side when we can't identify a victim through any other means, and building out the cases that way. We've seen over time 130 cases thus far since 2018 that have had successfully used investigative genetic genealogy.
So if he was a doctor, how was he identified in traffic stop?
There's no traffic stop. There's no traffic stop.
What was he? What was he charged with? Also, you said trespassing.
Well, he was encountered by the police and the agents for the FBI who were out there looking for him. So they had an idea of where he was. But I know that from that encounter, there's also a local charge of trespassing, not in a vehicle. He was apparently at that business, I guess, unwantedly so. He was. We already had the name. We had the arrest warrant. So when they encountered him, they knew he was wanted. So he was picked up for that. Yeah.
With the home invasion in California, will he be taken in charge there? Does this take precedent?
Thank you.
Certainly, this is the more serious, the loss of life. California will follow up on their investigation. They would have to direct questions to that police. It's LAPD that is handling that as far as specifics to their investigation. But certainly, we have been in communication. Our investigators have been in communication with theirs. They are aware that we identified the suspect here, and by identifying our suspect, we have their suspect, they have their suspect, and they can move forward on charges. They would also file.
Yeah, but that's not the jobs they're talking about. They're the low-wage jobs. I mean, I don't like it. I don't like the association that the illegal aliens are taking jobs that are really affecting the black community's job opportunities. They should have better opportunities overall, right? Like we should start, fix the education system in the United States so that everybody is learning together. There's no, they have the same ability to learn as anybody else. And it's our problem that we have as a country that our education system sucks in the inner cities. I mean, absolute garbage, trash education systems, all right? So until we get that fixed, you're going to have the same problems because there's no reason. I mean, people should be able to do whatever they want, but if you don't have the tools to do it, you can't do it.
The arrest warrant on file, so I never want him to leave Maryland again. I want him to die in the Maryland jail, Maryland prison system.
There you go.
We don't have the death penalty, so I just hope he spends the rest of his days there. But if he ever got out of this one, he would be sent extradited to California.
You used to live in Oregon, Gene Fish? Yeah, we used to pick strawberries when we were kids, so my mom could make jam.
And if he got out of that one, there's still the red folder, the red notice, where El Salvador would want him back, and ICE has marked him for detainer, so he would go back there to face those charges.
English?
I do not know.
Thanks, Ozzy Tricia.
No. Actually, the major in the back is shaking his head no, he does not. And again, we shared the picture. You all will have the picture. It's going to be, no doubt out there on social media. So we're still looking for information. He was in this area for at least some period of time. And when I say the area, he was in the Bel Air area for some period of time before or right after the homicide, or both.
He's got lips on his forehead.
If people still have information, and now that there's a name to put with the face, investigators still want to talk to you. We still want to know. We still want to build that timeline because there is a case to prosecute, and we want to put all the pieces together so that Miss Healy can do her job most successfully, and again, ensure this guy never sees the light of day.
Did he ever have any contact with police before this in Bel Air?
Not that we're familiar with.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and again, thank our partners. To have Rachel's family here means so much to not me. I mean, to me, of course, but to the investigators who worked it.
I mean, it's weird how you can really see how they care a lot about. I mean, this is how it should be in all the places. See, that's where it pisses you off. In like the Mercedes Vega case, the law enforcement's just whatever,
This case tirelessly. I appreciate that, and I appreciate all of our federal, state, and local partners. So with that, thank you.
I have one bit of housekeeping for everyone too. We made a decision earlier today that we are not going to share the suspect's photo on our social media. It was here. If you have,
Well, it's all about wanting to, though, Ariel. See, it doesn't take that long. It used to be when people came to the United States, they worked really hard to try to learn the language. And now there's just so many people living here from other cultures that they don't feel like it's necessary to learn the language. And that was one of the things that, I can't remember his name, but he used to always say, borders, language, culture define a country, right? So you have a border, the language, and the culture of the country. Now our culture is sort of a melting pot of, we don't really have a culture, like other countries. You go to Ireland, they're singing the beer, drinking songs. Australia has a culture, but we don't really have one. We have tons of different cultures, kind of a melting pot. That's how we've been. But I think the borders and language is a big deal. If you can't speak the language of the country you're in, your chances of being very successful are very slim. And that's just the truth. And you can think whatever you want. Well, what about so-and-so? Okay, there you go. You give me the one example. Hey, thanks, monogamous apostate. They do vote in California since 2016. We can't get our driver's license without updating our voting registration. They give them crumbs and vote for them. Homeless, too. We are not a blue state. I'm not sure what do you mean by not a blue state? I'm not sure what jungle primaries means, but no idea. Can they vote for they can just vote locally, right? I think it's time to stop melting the pot. I don't know. Here's what I want, you guys. I want when people come here, they're just so thankful and they want to love the United States. But what's really weird to me is you have all these people that come over here, and then the United States is playing Mexico in the World Cup, and they're just all cheering the hell out of Mexico and the hell with the United States. Shouldn't they just be absolutely pumped about the United States trying to beat Mexico, the country they left because they were treated like garbage over there? And then they came over here and they finally have some income and they're able to thrive and survive. And instead they're still cheering for the country who, just, I just don't get it, man. I don't get it. The ungratefulness. It's wild.
If you would like a copy of the flyer, you can send an email to media@hartfordsheriff.org and I will send it to you if you would like to use it in your newscast, but we will not share his picture on any of our social media. Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Thanks, Christy. Good afternoon.
All right, well, let's see what it says here in the Daily Mail. Yeah, Michael Savage, that's who used to say that. It's also, other people say it too, but Authorities have arrested an illegal immigrant on suspicion of murdering a mother whose naked body was found on a hiking trail almost a year ago. Hernandez illegally crossed the southern border in February of 2023 after he allegedly murdered another woman in El Salvador a month earlier. And he is also accused of attacking a 9-year-old girl and her mother in Los Angeles before Morin's murder. And that's Rachel Morin right there. And I guess that's maybe a picture of him when he was younger, perhaps. Ah, jeez, what a pile of crap. Let me see. I'll go back to an old article on it. So this is back in August of last year. Yeah, so Rachel Morin was last seen on Saturday at around 6 p.m. leaving her house to take a hike in Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air, Maryland. She never returned. A body was discovered near the 6.5-mile trail walking route on Sunday. Let's see what this shows.
The search for a missing woman in Harford County came to a tragic end earlier today when neighbors found her body at a local trail in Bel Air. WMAR 2 News' Janae Wright has the details.
Well, I know not a blue state meme, but I'm talking about. No, but no, it's not really. The Southern California is not a blue state. The rest is. San Francisco, Los Angeles.
How she was found.
The Bel Air community is now mourning the death of 37-year-old Rachel Morin after her body was found on Ma and Pa Trail Sunday afternoon.
That something like this should not happen in Harford County.
Officers say Rachel Morin left her home around 6 p.m. Saturday and went over to the Ma and Pa Trail. Around 11 p.m., officers say her boyfriend reported her missing, which is when a search began for Rachel. Just after 1 p.m.
What do you mean a lot of people missed the forehead? We saw it.
Sunday afternoon, police got a call saying a woman's body was found on the same trail.
We firmly believe this is the body of Rachel Morin. That final determination, that final say belongs with the medical examiner, and that has not happened yet.
The call came in from Michael Gabrzeski, who says he joined the search after hearing about Rachel's disappearance.
Remember that guy?
He says his daughter was friends with Rachel. He and his daughter and a friend found Rachel's body in a drain.
And I kept telling them to search the tunnels because I had a feeling about those tunnels. And I walked forward to search the one tunnel, and they searched the one, and that's where they found her.
Michael says the state they found her body in led him to believe she was murdered. Neighbors concerned about what may have happened to her after finding out her body was found.
I was just really sorry for the woman, and then I also heard that she had a family, she had children. So that's really tragic.
Michael says although he's devastated to find Rachel the way he did, he's hoping the family can find closure.
To bring her home so she can find a final resting place in her family, that door can be finally closed, and they can get the investigation on and hopefully catch the person that did this trifling act.
Many people are saddened by Rachel's death and are hoping police soon find whoever killed her.
I hope they prosecute to the fullest extent of the law.
Anyone with information.
This is all back then. And those are the trails. That's her boyfriend at the time. That's her again. You know, so I mean, it was pretty crazy. Her body was found, like she parked her car right over here in the parking area. And when you go down here, you can actually go to Street View here. It's funny, I was wondering, man, is that couldn't be her on another time, but I don't think it is. So there's a trail here, and you park and you just go down the trail. Now it's kind of isolated. It kind of looks like the Delphi trail with trees all around. And walking around, and somehow she was attacked over in this area. And there's these tunnels she was found in that go underneath the road. There's two separate tunnels, and she was found in there. I mean, God, what a psycho! He just goes to the park waiting for that opportunity. The guy's like a serial killer. Crazy. So I remember earlier in the day, right? Remember how she went to the gym and then glow on the day she went missing to this tanning place. She went to the tanning place, then the workout, And then she went to here, and then she was found killed in there. So there you have it. There you have it. Let's see what else. So that was on the 9th. People magazine had what to know about killing of missing women. This was not accidental, and she did not go willingly. On Tuesday, police again asked anyone who visited the trail Saturday and anyone living near the trailhead with security cameras outside their homes to review their photos and video in case they see anything suspicious. Police say they have no suspects. 3 days after Morin was first reported missing, police have not identified a suspect. At this point in time, there is not a suspect. Reporters at a news conference Sunday, where he warned hikers to be mindful of their surroundings on the trail as the investigation continues. See if there's anything like prior to that. I dated everything in here. I don't know the dates on some of this stuff. But yeah, I guess that's all I got on this one. It's amazing. Pretty amazing that they made an arrest on a case like that just seemed like it was just going to be absolutely impossible, and they did it quickly. You know, comparatively quickly. We're talking about less than a year. They arrested an unknown person with a picture from the side, but, you know, he's from another country even, and really no way to figure out anything, and they did it. I mean, I guess there are ways to figure something out. He had been in communication with other people, and then they sort of tracked him down that way. Please hit the like button on the way in if you haven't already. I think her birthday. Oh, I think something like that. All right, but anyways, I got to go use the facilities. All right. Anybody want to get the notebook? Let me see if anybody ordered the notebook. No. So none of you out there went and got the notebook, the pen, and the stress ball. You send $30 to PayPal, and I write a note in there and everything. The dogs sign it with their paw prints and everything. Come on, you guys. Come on. All right, hold on a second. I will be back in a minute. Now, come on. You know it says that. No, thank you, Mary Buchanan. I'm going to keep playing that over and over, if not just to piss you off on a daily basis. Let's see. Alright, well, I don't have much more to offer on this one. We've already gone through the stuff. It always offends people if you try to tell them that here we go again with another border issue, and if you point out that there is one political party that likes to have the doesn't mind having the borders open. They get angry if you build a wall. They get angry if you do anything. It's just... And then the other one wants to shut the borders down. And it's just a reality that you have to kind of deal with, And then they'll put something forward that doesn't do enough to really actually control anything. And if the other side doesn't vote, they go, see, we tried to do... Well, you can do the presidential orders, You can make things happen if you really wanted to. That border could have been shut down 3 years ago by bringing the National Guard in there and just not letting people come in. That's the truth. Unfortunately, it just doesn't happen. Yeah, I'm going to play it as many times as I possibly can. Well, he was caught in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's nowhere near here. It's like Oklahoma's way the hell over here. I think it's right there. So somewhere in Tulsa. Let's go yeah, there's Tulsa, Oklahoma right there. And Rachel Morin was up in this area. So that's 2,000 miles away. And then he went to California, to there, and then back to Tulsa. I don't know what that means. Way more than 10 months. Oh, you have to start over again? Yeah, because isn't it hard to get the gray thing? I mean, how long does it take to get that thing? Yeah. Just like last night, wanted the spirit box and someone got mad. Yeah, he's traveling all around the place, meeting up with other people from the same area in gangs and various locations. So that's what he's doing. Probably killed other people. There's probably other murders that have happened during the same time frame, and eventually I don't want to go spend time trying to find something either. But you guys, we're currently at 50% of a nightly goal, so if you guys are out there and you can help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, I would be grateful. I try to cover cases the right way. We've covered this since the beginning. Any updates, we would always do those. And now there's a resolution. The final resolution will be when there's a trial, and there's absolutely no doubt that he'll be found guilty because his DNA was at the crime scene. Yeah, hopefully, Cindy. Hopefully. Does anybody like, I don't know. Or you just vote him out, Donald. That's everybody's choice coming up. Obviously, I hope he didn't kill anyone else, but if he did, yeah. I was outside all day and didn't hear till now. I'll have to rewatch. All it is that they made an arrest. And this is the guy right here. You don't have to go back and listen to everything. This guy right here, he came in from El Salvador in February of 2023, a month after he viciously killed a woman in El Salvador. Then he came to the United States, and then shortly after he got here, he attacked a 9-year-old and the mother in that what we saw a long time ago where he went into the house and he was exiting. Then, months after that, like 4 or 5 months later, he attacked Rachel Morin in, I think it's Maryland. And the DNA was at both scenes. And then they tracked him down through investigative genetic genealogy, getting a hold of relatives and where he's from, and led to them tracking him down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they arrested him. I don't know. He's got it scrunched up. I don't know. I was showing you that earlier. I zoomed in like this and on the show. It looks like lips. He's got another mouth right there. Maybe that's a nose and a mouth. Maybe there's teeth inside of that. Looks like, well, maybe that's a nose. See how that's a nose with the two nostrils? Maybe you flipped it upside. Let's go like this. Hold on. I think this makes more sense. Come on, that's super chat worthy right there. Look at this. Look at that right there. Look at that. He's got the nose, the lips right here, and a little chin that goes up in the air. He's looking. Oh man, that is perfect right there. That might even have to be an emoji, for God's sakes. Hold on. Let me grab that, a part of this. Hey, right there. Look at that emoji, huh? Whew! All right. Look at that. How would this guy sound?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Yeah, he probably would sound like that. It'd be cool just to have that as an emoji. But hey, I'm going to need you guys' help support on the channel tonight, you guys. We are just frozen for the last 25-30 minutes, and we're behind for our nightly goal now, based on the timing and where we're at. So if you think I do a good job and cover things well and like the videos that I do, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, well, it definitely looks like a really thin nose, right? And then a couple nostrils. And then his mouth underneath, and then a chin that's really tucked up under the lips here. And a beard. He's got a beard right there, you see? Yeah, you have to be a lot like that. If you go like that, it kind of ruins it. You can go like this, though. It kind of looks like that's his ear. Like that. Look at it. Weird ass ears that stick out on the side. I wonder if I did both of them. Yeah, there you go. Like, you could do that right there. There you go. I like that one. Because now he has ears too. Thank you, Michelle H. He's got the Michael Jackson nose going on. I don't really... Yeah, the thin nose, maybe. Thank you, CP. Hype, hype, hype. Michelle H. CP. Does it work with the ears, or should I make it so it's more like... I like it like just like this, right here, where you just get the little bit of the side of his head. I think it's awesome. All right. Anyways, I'll try to add that as an emoji at some point. What should we call it? Ollie or something, or Oscar? And we have Skippy for Chad Daybell. Okay, well, what do you guys want to talk about now? We're going to switch topics. You can talk about any of the stuff we've been covering. Delphi, the Madeline Soto case, anything. Throw the questions in there. Why do you have a question mark on there? I don't know, Rex Heuermann, I don't know. I don't really have any extra to say about him either. I've already done his Heuermann's. What about them? That whole press conference to me was ridiculous, okay? I don't have anything to add after that press conference. I mean, what's there to say about Rex Heuermann at this point? Yeah, I'm saying there might not be anything in North Dakota, but if I turned on all the pins, definitely the safest part of the country is right around in this area. In terms of crime, the numbers of crime, maybe per capita, I don't know. And notice we're only at 301 people now. We were at 400, now we're going down. So I don't know, maybe I'll just make it a short show tonight. You know, it's going to be a struggle now, and yeah, it's just... 294, we're going to keep going down. 294, 293, 290. Maybe I'll just end this stream and come back on a little bit later. What do you guys think about that? It is Saturday. I think that's a good idea. All right. Maybe we'll do another live stream where it's not about this one. All right. All right. So anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Thanks Eugenie for gifting a membership, and Timothy Cecil, Dane Crawford, Claudia Neubauer, Janelle Glover, Lisa Valenzuela, Cindy Christensen, Allie Cake, Amber Maiden gifted a membership, then Monogamous Apostate, then Kim Christian, Pecan Baby, 47 months, Sandy Shirley gifted 5, thank you very much, Monogamous Apostate, Fishing in the Dark, this is Metman, Barbara Waite, K-Me, Gnome, Osiris Stewart, Lady of Cali, Richard Gartner, Julia Morales, Ozzy Trisha gifted a membership, then Monogamous Apostate, Danielle, then Ozzy Trisha, 29 months, Esther M just says 10 months, but been a lot longer than that, Michelle H, and CP. All right. Well, we'll see you guys later. I don't know what time, but we'll just have it be, we'll just talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about. All right. So we'll see you guys then. And as I always say, everybody, wait, let's see what the dogs are doing. Hold on. Oh, it's Blue all by himself. Look at that nice and slow breathing rate, man. That's awesome. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. Man, I think he's like perfect now. Let me do the stopwatch. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's okay, so 6 times 4, 24, man, that's perfect. That's low. That's low right there. Yeah, Blue's awesome. Yeah, we had to give him on medication. He has heart disease, and he had this fluid in his lungs, and he was just like really like 60, 70 breaths a minute. He was really struggling one night when I was doing a show, actually. So we ended up taking him to the emergency room, and they were like, whoa. But they said, hey, if we give him Lasix, it'll fix him right up, they think. And there it was, man. I mean, the next day, it was a lot better, and now we have to give him Lasix and some other medicine every single day, but he's still doing good, I think. No, he's doing good now. He coughs a lot, though. He's always coughing about, because his enlarged heart, I think, presses on his trachea or something, and he coughs. But other than that, he seems to be doing pretty good. That's almost the best I've ever seen right there. Look how good that is. It's awesome. Well, it looks like Chloe ran by, and he was like, hey, where'd she go? Yep. All right. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for being here. And as I always say, until next time. Look at Chloe. Be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gragel's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector.
Fool deflector, interceptor, and I mean a respecter with a vector.
On his pector, with all respect,
y'all.
Just remember, I've a temple fucking
check show. I have no agenda. I never agenda. And I'll serve anything else right without the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody. Talk to you. All right, see you guys later.
Bye, everybody.
Gee.
That's what I'm supposed to say. Great guy.
All right, see you.